decades, BMW has told us luxury is all about steering feel, balance, enjoying the drive, sheer driving pleasure. The Indian buyer said, yeah, all right, that's great, but how much knee room do you have in the rear? Which is why the 3 Series went long wheelbase, even the 5 Series went long wheelbase, and now the standard X1 is going long wheelbase too, largely because the iX1 electric long wheelbase clearly showed us buyers in this space particularly care more about the rear seat space than how quickly it gets to 100 kilometers an hour. You see, when testing EV waters, car makers usually take a successful ICE variant, put a battery underneath, and then present the result as their vision of the future. BMW sort of done the opposite in the entry-level space. The long wheelbase X1 petrol exists because the iX1 long wheelbase has clearly shown what buyers want. It's outsold the standard petrol by a huge margin, not because of the electric powertrain, but because it comes in a long form. And that's exactly what the new X1 petrol is trying to achieve. So BMW's response is to discontinue the standard wheelbase petrol model and then replace it with the longer one. The diesel still remains with the standard option, but if there is enough demand for a diesel X1, BMW will not shy away from giving that the longer treatment too. In effect, the EV has stopped being the experimental offshoot and become the template for the combustion car. And that talks a lot about the entry-level luxury space in India than any sales starts would ever tell you. Basically, when we reviewed the standard wheelbase petrol X1, I had said that it is one of the best entry luxury crossovers out there. It looked substantial, it had the technology, and most importantly, it never made you feel that you had actually gone and bought the cheapest car in BMW showroom. There's no glaring compromise in its design, cabin space, or general specification. The badge may say X1, but the experience rarely felt like BMW had started counting backwards from the X5 and run out of budget. The long wheelbase doubles down on that idea. It is not trying to turn the X1 into a faster, more athletic BMW. It wants to make it feel like a bigger, more complete luxury car. And that reflects a change in what luxury buyers now value. There was a time when BMW could sell you a car purely on the basis of steering feel and rear-wheel drive balance. Today, however, the inches of knee room that you get makes a much stronger sales pitch than how much you are saving on the 0 to 100 time. People still aspire to drive a BMW, of course, but they simply don't mind having the option of being driven in one, even in the entry luxury space. The X1 Long Wheelbase is 4,616 millimeters long, an increase of 116 millimeters, while its 2,800 millimeter wheelbase is 108 millimeter longer than the standard car. BMW calls it the longest vehicle in its segment and claims the most spacious second row now. Unlike some other stretched cars, it doesn't feel like two different designers designed the front and the rear end and never really spoke to each other. The longer rear doors and extended glass house make the added length visible, but the proportions remain tidy. The X1 was already a rather upright, substantial-looking compact SUV. This now appears closer to an older X3 in size. There are subtle visual changes too. Satin aluminum finish detailing replaces some of the black trim used by the outgoing version, including around the grille and exterior highlights. BMW says that this is more luxury-oriented treatment. That's basically marketing lingo for saying shiny silver looks classier than shiny black, at least this year. The adaptive LED headlamps, the 18-inch M alloy wheels, and the familiar 4-eye lighting signature remain. Most of those additional millimeters have been spent where buyers will notice them, behind the front seats. You get 109 millimeters of additional knee room now. Even the cushioning is a little bit thicker and softer for better under-thigh support. And the panoramic sunroof extends all the way to the back, giving you almost 9 square feet of real estate area. And speaking of the glass house, the doors are nice and wide, even the rear quarter glass is extended. So it makes for a much airier feel in here. It doesn't feel like a merely stretched out vehicle. Everything feels a lot more thoughtful. The result is a rear seat that feels like one of the main reasons to buy an X1, rather than something your family sits while reminding you that the X3 was beyond budget. Up front, the basic architecture is familiar. The curved display runs BMW OS 9, accompanied by wireless smartphone connectivity, connected drive functions, and over-the-air updates. There is a Harman Kardon system with 12 speakers which sounds brilliant with its 205-watt output. There's electrically adjustable front sport seats, driver side memory function, and a wireless phone charger as well. As with most modern BMWs, there are multiple ways you can use the car. There's the regular key fob. There's also the digital smart card, which you can even keep inside your wallet. There's also the digital key, which you can have on your phone or on your smartwatch, and that will let you have up to 18 different keys in case your car behaves more like a family WhatsApp channel and not a privately owned car. Practicality also sees an improvement. You still get the powered tailgate. The boot space is 540 litres, but now with the extended wheelbase, when you drop the 40-20-40 seats, you get 1700 litres of boot space. That's 100 litres more than the outgoing car. And this is properly usable space, even for a long road trip with the family. Not the usual luxury car compromise. We have to carefully select what bespoke cabin luggage you're going to use. The long wheelbase adds equipment that the outgoing standard wheelbase petrol X1 lacked, like Parking Assistant Plus, which brings all-round cameras, parking sensor and camera fusion, and a reversing assistant capable of retracing the last 50 meters. And the reversing assistant is particularly useful when you've driven into a really narrow lane and confidence isn't one of the driving modes on this car. That is where it really helps. With ADAS functionality on board, the BMW driving assistant adds dynamic cruise control with braking, frontal collision warning and intervention, pedestrian and cyclist detection, lane departure warning, rear end warning, and left turn assistance. There are 8 airbags as well. It isn't the most comprehensive hands-off driving package in the business, but it corrects a conspicuous omission from the outgoing X1 and makes the new car feel more appropriate for its price and positioning. The big question, is this still a driver's BMW? The engine remains BMW's 1.5-litre turbocharged 3-cylinder petrol, paired with a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic. The output rises to 156 PS, an increase of about 20 PS from the outgoing car. The torque still remains at 230 Newton meters, available from 1500 to 4600 RPM. The engine is tuned for E20 petrol, while the materials are compatible for blends up to E25. Interestingly, the 20 PS more power output hasn't really translated into a quicker 0 to 100 figure. If anything, the outgoing car did it in about 9.2 seconds. This one does it in 9.3 seconds. So it's essentially the additional mass, that length, which has sort of taken away all that power advantage and not really letting your stopwatch enjoy it. Power is brisk for everyday use, pulling overtakes, etc., driving in the city. It's not a problem at all. But if you are expecting this to be like a discounted BMW M car, well, you need a recalibration of your expectations. The powertrain strengths lie elsewhere. Like, for example, the city driving is absolutely easy. It's very tractable. The DCT also feels pretty responsive and behaves really well even in bumper-to-bumper slow-moving traffic. You don't get that typical jerky behavior that you get from some DCTs. And overtaking feels quite effortless. Of course, this is not the kind of engine that will make you go looking for a mountain road like we are on right now, but it will do its jobs really well that you do on a regular basis. So city driving, highway cruising, all of that feels pretty effortless. It doesn't feel like a compromise at all. But that said, this engine immediately shows that it is more comfort-led and not really an enthusiast powertrain. I'll still make a tall claim and say that this is one of the best 1.5-litre engines out there. The Volkswagen Group TSI 1.5s, they sound a little better, they feel a little bit more engaging, so those will still remain at the top. But this one doesn't feel like a compromise at all. This one is quite an enjoyable powertrain. It's just by BMW standards where it feels more of a comfort-led powertrain than an outright enthusiastic one. The front-wheel drive X1 was never a driver's car by traditional BMW standards anyway. So the LWB sensibly concentrates on the other end of the spectrum, comfort. BMW has fitted the comfort suspension as standard and recalibrated it for the longer wheelbase. Caster travel has been increased to improve straight-line stability and steering feedback, while pre-tensioned anti-roll bar mounts are intended to provide body support without making the ride needlessly stern. Change in emphasis is very obvious. It feels like a very calm car. It likes to settle into a normal, laid-back driving. It doesn't really give you that taut response that you find from a typical BMW. This one feels more pliant, plusher, and it rounds off all those undulations pretty well despite being a long wheelbase car. It still retains accurate steering and reasonable body control, but the old BMW priorities have been rearranged. Comfort now sits at the top of the meeting agenda. Cornering enthusiasm has been asked to wait outside. And this isn't necessarily a loss. The tauter dynamics were perfect for a car that was pitched as a compact crossover to the enthusiastic driver. But for a car that is now aimed at ferrying executives, families, for that I think this relaxed nature of the chassis fits the brief perfectly. The smartest part of the X1 LWB is that it doesn't merely offer more rear legroom. It makes BMW's entry SUV feel less entry-level everywhere that matters. The cabin is airier. The proportions are still pretty good looking, though yes, it does look a bit MPV-ish. The safety and assistance package is more complete, the engine is stronger, and the exterior now has enough visual length to support the claims made by the rear seat. Alongside the usual roadside assistance and the service packages, BMW will also let you opt for a 10-year extended warranty. You heard that right, 10 years. And definitely tick that option if you're buying this car. One, it's a German car. You definitely want as much warranty as you can have. Not only because it keeps you at peace, no message or no new telltale light on the instrumentation is going to ruin your next family holiday. And more importantly, when you decide to trade in the car or maybe sell it and get something bigger, which you eventually will, that additional warranty is definitely going to help. Some enthusiasts will mourn the X1's continuing drift away from the compact, driver-focused character of BMWs. But the market has already delivered its verdict through the iX1 LWB. Buyers want the larger cabin, the bigger car presence, and the sense that the first BMW need not feel like the first rung on a ladder. Despite BMW pricing its products so aggressively lately, there's no denying that for this price you can also look at the Volkswagen Tiguan R-Line. It's every bit German, it comes with a larger engine, and it can do a 0 to 100 2 seconds quicker than this car. But like we've been saying right from the start of this review, not everyone in this space is looking for a quick car. And the BMW iX1 LWB proved that very well. BMW listened, so what you have is the X1 Long Wheelbase, and I think it has a lot going for it. It's got the space, it's got a decent engine, I think the proportions look pretty good, and at the end of the day, it's still a BMW. So I think it's going to find a lot of takers in this space. But let us know your thoughts in the comments below.